Hey guys, back again. This video is just basically goes through a Windows install via Winboat and adding a couple of Windows programs. But there will be hopefully there will be a fourth video because should be a way to actually get the Windows applications to go into either onto the desktop as icons or into the start menu, which will then natively run or look like it will natively run Microsoft Office. That's what I'm going to try and go for, the Microsoft Word and Publisher and stuff like that, to just basically click on the Linux menu, look for the program, click on it, and hopefully it should just boot straight up onto one screen without then having to go into your browser to watch your virtual machine to actually open it up that way. So that's one hopefully I can get sorted out, but for now I'm just going to show you how to actually install Windows via Winboat, and then again a couple of programs. I hope you enjoy it. Okay. Now I have finally got into Winboat. I've got to the prerequisites, everything's ticked off, which is brilliant. So now I need to set up a version of Windows to run alongside the Arch Linux. Now this means removing some of the resources of your computer, just like a virtual machine. Only thing is you don't have to switch the machine off or switch the machine on to go into term. Oh no, well yeah, it's just it is kind of a virtual machine in a way, thinking about it. But this helps if you have that one program in Windows you need to use, so you wouldn't have to switch the machine off, turn the machine back on, then boot into Windows, do what you're doing in that program, shut the machine down or restart the machine and log back into Linux every time you need to do something. I will say, do not give more than half of your machine's resources away to Windows, as Linux needs to run as well as Windows. So I'm going to click the next button. To choose where you want. Yeah, I'm going to install it into that directory. Windows 11 Pro. So now I need to select the ISO file, which should be right there. Open it up, and then you click next. So now I need to put my password in. That should be next. Right, so I'm going to set it as two cores. I can chuck it up at 8 RAM, and I'm going to give it 64 gigabytes of the hard drive space, solely so I can actually install the Windows itself, and hopefully and possibly, actually I'm going to put 100 gig. Oh, no, well, 96 gig in, and then that should give me enough room to actually install the program as well. I really need to get a larger SSD for stuff like this, but yeah, it's okay, it's all good. So click the next. Home folder sharing, which I will enable home folder sharing because there may be something I need to look at whilst I'm in the Windows virtual machine. And then install it. Now Winboat will now install Windows for itself. So I am now hoping that I've set it up correctly. Now it's taken me 2 days to get into this to this point, but it's just like a virtual machine basis or a container. It just makes things a little bit easier because I've had no luck with virtual machines whatsoever. I've tried to do a couple in the past and it's just not good. This will never have to activate Windows either. You can just use it as a free use. So now it's extracting a local ISO image, and it should now then just go through a general Windows Windows installation. And we've all seen one of them. So once the installation starts, I'll turn you off. I'll go through the installation, and then I'll once the installation's finished of Windows, I'll come back in. Right, okay, so I've had to go into my browser to actually see what's happening with the Windows setup. It did say in big letters, if you want to see what's happening, view it in your browser, and it's just popped up, so that's a good thing. So I'm just going to let it install. Like I was saying, like a virtual machine, the more resources you take away, once you start running Winboat, it will take away from the Linux. So it'll go from a 4-core processor to a 2-core processor, and it'll only then be running 12 gigabytes of RAM. Then the Windows side of things, it'll be another dual-core processor and 8 gigabytes of RAM. But I think you can basically just use Winboat, just click into Winboat, and then it'll run Winboat, and then when you close it, it brings back the resources back into Linux. So it only takes the resources away when you're actually running the Winboat application itself, I think. Or that's the general idea of it, whereas a virtual machine, it always seems to run in the background. I could be wrong. But like I say, I've never really got very far with any virtual machines. Now, it's gone through the Windows install, and seems to have just gone straight into it. It's even cloned the username of the actual Linux side of the PC. So I'm now going to close that off, leave the page, drop it down, and it's saying Windows is being installed successfully. So now I'm going to finish this part. So, and it's already telling me what CPU usage. I mean, it's using a lot of the CPU already. It's going down as well. It's jumping around quite a bit. So let's have a quick look what's going on. So you click your apps. I don't know what it's doing now, but it will run quite slowly because you're pretty much half in your machine. This is an old machine which I'm running Windows 11 on. But you've got all the Windows apps that are there. Now I think there's a way of actually popping something up, maybe configuration, share the home folder. So I'm hoping if you do that, no, I don't think it is there. So let me just try and work something out here. Display scaling 100%, yep. I've smart card pass through. Smart card reader, right, okay, I don't need that. If you know about and pin the audio pieces, you can get right make no. That's a brilliant warning. All actions here are potentially destructive. Proceed at your own caution. So that's fine. Disable animations. Enable access. Nope. Right. Okay. And then about. Oh, this is a beta. We're getting quite close to the version 1. This started out in, I think it was January or February this year. And when I looked on, when I found out about Winboat, it was on version 0.53.4 or something, or 0.5.34 or something daft. So there is development still going on. So I'm just trying to see something. Computer management. So if we close that and then just run Winboat, I believe, if I can find it. Just got to work out how to get back into this. So where's Winboat? Where is Winboat? Utilities. Oh, utilities Winboat. So you double click on your, well, you click on your Winboat. Apps. So how do you install an app? Is this something you've got to do? Hang on, I could have done something wrong here. History. There we go. Yeah, there's the. So you have to go do it via a browser. So take notice of what this is and bookmark it and save it into your browser. So then you can just go straight into your Windows at any point you want. Right, okay, I don't want to back up any bookmarks. So I think I'm going to install an Adobe program. This is the whole point of it. So Adobe. Which one is it? Adobe Photoshop Express. Bear with me a second. It's Adobe. Right, I need to find Adobe Premiere. So I may need to have to Adobe Premiere. Right, Adobe Premiere. It's going to be the. I think it's going to be the free version. I think this one is. Yeah, so this is only a free trial version. I'm not going to spend money on Adobe because I don't really want to, and it's bloody expensive. So I'm just going to install it straight away via this, and once the Adobe installs done, I will come back to you. Now it looks like Adobe Premiere Elements has installed. It automatically opened up this thing, so I'm just going to basically hit the video editor. And let's see if we can get into Adobe Premiere itself. Like I say, it will be a little slower than just basically having a straight Windows machine. I keep on saying this because it's only running on half the system. Seems to like to take its damn time. So if you are going to do this, I would suggest having a pretty good machine to do this. Possibly 6 cores and up. I don't know what it's supposed to be doing. still going. It's just thinking about things very slowly. Don't seem to do much. Oh my, I wonder if I'm doing something wrong here. So it's installed. I might have installed the wrong thing here. Okay. I'm just going to do something a bit different. Alright, okay. Ah, here we go. Adobe Premiere. I can't remember if you're not connected. Yes, I'm connected to the internet. Internet app there. Oh, can you just observe this? Maybe because you're not connected. Check your connection. So that didn't go very well. So I think I will just try and install Adobe Premiere itself now, rather than the Elements bullcrap, and see if anything works out any better there. So let's talk first. Hang on, let's get that up. Let's see what's going on. Create cloud. Oh, okay. Okay, well, quite a hitch of that. Maybe you need to have the license for it. I don't know. Anyway, let's just install something else, Adobe, that we know that will not work on Linux at all. Well, now that's installing, it says, or not. No. So again, I'm going to come away and come back to you once we've got Adobe Express in. Right, according to this, it is now installed. So let's just see if this opens up. Close that off. I don't care about cookies or anything like that. Yeah, so here comes Adobe Express. Do a bit of video editing maybe. No student or teacher, bugger off. Allow. Videos. Now it's in a different, completely different spot. So so it's network. Would it be network? This PC then. I'm quite confused on this one at the moment. So it's not exactly how I was thinking it was going to be. Let's create a video. Standard video. And here we go. Performance limitations are detected, of course. Another thing about this virtual machine, graphical hardware acceleration isn't enabled on this. Like I say, it's still a beta, but it's up and running. It's slow. Hardware acceleration isn't working. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's. I'll just close that, and there we go. We can create a video to get started. So Adobe products are working on this machine at the moment. Yeah, well, okay, close. Another thing that's no good for this is the fact that although Windows games will work, the kernel level anti-cheat games still won't work because you are initially going through as a Linux user. I'm just trying to see if it's done something. Internet system. Now I thought it'd pop everything into this sub menu, which is actually the whole reason why I've done this. If not, I'd have just done a separate virtual machine system. So let me just drop this down a second. Home. Right, let's pop this up at full. Right, just configuration. If enabled, access your Linux home folder within Windows. Host LAN, which it wouldn't let me do that. I've got to work out how to get into my videos and stuff via Windows, via Linux into Windows. But it says it should be in the host LAN, which I couldn't see. Apparently this doesn't work well with multi-monitors either. It might be better now, but the videos I've seen, it's not particularly good. Anyway, I'm kind of knackered. I've had enough of this. But I'm damn sure you should be able to do something with this. I might have to have another better look at everything that's going on. But I'm going to install Office 365 as well. See if that lets me do stuff. What are these settings? Local scaling, remote resizing, so you can actually Nope. Local scaling, advanced. Quarter. Green one. Yeah, that'll do. So just make it look a little bit neater. Oh, so would it be in the shared folder? And there's all my videos. Right, okay, so yes, it's actually on the desktop for your shared folder where you can... that's all the stuff in my Linux parts. And other videos I've done on YouTube projects, which this is on the Linux part of the system, so that's nice. So just basically click on that and see if it actually works. Windows Media Player, no, Windows Media Player, always. And there we go, it actually runs stuff from the Linux part. So it would make life easier rather than having to do a dual boot, but at the same time it really cripples your system performance. It's not quite how I was thinking it was going to be. But anyway, let's see if we can install Word or Office and see if that works, because I'm sure you can get a free version. Office 365. No, go up. For one person. How much is it going to try and cost me? But if you need Office, right, we'll install it for free with limited features. And that was the whole Word, Excel and PowerPoint. That's all we really care about. Drop this down a second. And it's now installing Office 365 through the VM on Linux, which will then give the 100% compatibility with any Word, PowerPoint or Excel documents that you need in, I hope. Was it Excel? Whatever the three programs are in 365 these days. I don't actually mind PowerPoint, so I may actually keep this up and running as a virtual machine. Possibility I might, but we'll see anyway. So once this is installed, I'll try and boot into Office 365 and then I'm going to call it for the night. Okay, so apparently Microsoft Office 365 is installed, so I'm going to close that and and here we go. Microsoft Word is up and running in Linux. So it's asking me to create an account as it usually does for the usual Microsoft stuff, which I'm not going to go and bother doing right now. But there we go. It's literally up and running. I may sign into my Microsoft account at some point and actually show you it working properly, but for it to come up like this already, you know it's going to be working. So I'm going to close this off for now. I've got still more to add on to this, and I had a hell of a lot of editing to do. I think it'll take me a couple of days to do the editing. I'm about 5 hours in just to get it to this point, and I would still say do the dual boot rather than doing this, unless you've got a really, really good system, like something with 8 cores plus. Then you can assign 4 cores to the virtual machine, and it will run a lot smoother, a lot nicer. I'd also suggest to have more than 20 gigs on your system, which I have. At least 32 gigs on your system, then you can put 12 gig on. 12 gig 4 cores on a Windows machine should run pretty smoothly. And I would also suggest having a terabyte plus SSD, so you have the room to put everything on both machines that you're ever going to need. But this all costs money, people, and a lot of this, the reason why people aren't using Windows 11, I mean this seems to bypass any sort of TPM settings and stuff like that as well, because as I was installing it, it didn't come up. This isn't via Rufus, unless there's a Rufus element embedded into the actual Winboat install, which bypasses it, which I'm suspecting it will do, but it didn't ask me for any real setup questions like the keyboard, the time zone. I think it did do the time zone, what I remember. I could be wrong, but stuff like asking for TPM2 bypass and stuff like that, it never asked for. So that's it. I will. I've got a couple more things, like I said, a couple more things to record with my ugly mug, explaining a couple of things. Have a addition to make on one of the command codes, where you have to be in the root rather than the super user, which took me 2.5 hours to realise you needed to do that on one thing. And if I'd have worked that out, I'd have had this done in about an hour and a half maximum. Okay, so that's the Windows install done. That's a couple of native Windows programs installed as well. Isn't quite working how it is advertised, so I'm going to make another video delving a little bit deeper into that, see if I can get what is advertised that Winboat will actually do. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks a lot. Again, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.